They don't want you reading this book. Because if you do, you'll start seeing the world differently, too clearly. What if intelligence isn't just ignored, but deliberately suppressed? Think about it. Have you ever felt like the world around you rewards mediocrity while punishing those who think too deeply? You're not alone. History is littered with brilliant minds who were silenced, ridiculed, or erased entirely. But why? What if there's a hidden system designed to keep true intelligence in check? A system that filters out disruptive thinkers before they can challenge the status quo? This book doesn't just expose that system. It reveals how you can break free from it. Stay with me, because once you see the truth, there's no going back. For decades, we've been sold on the idea that if you're smart and work hard, success is guaranteed. It's a pleasant fairy tale, but one that starts to unravel once you look deeper. Government institutions, big corporations, and even the education system all claim to champion the gifted. Yet you'd be shocked how little these structures actually reward original, disruptive thinking. Take a closer look at history. The brilliant inventors, philosophers, and artists often lived lives rife with financial stress, social ostracization, or even blacklisting. They were either too revolutionary to be taken seriously at the time, or too unpredictable for those who held the reins of power. Rumors have circulated for years that, behind closed doors, the so-called elite carefully filter out rebellious brilliance, fearing it could shatter the framework they rely upon. But that isn't the whole story. There's an even deeper layer to why true intellectual independence is treated like a threat. Whenever a bright mind emerges, someone who sees solutions before the rest of us even know there's a problem, the system reacts with skepticism or outright hostility. And no wonder. A mind that can't be easily predicted or manipulated can expose the flaws that keep society's top players in power. If you follow the rumor mill, you'll find consistent whispers of scientific breakthroughs quietly shelved, corporate whistleblowers pushed aside, and geniuses labeled as uncooperative in a ploy to ruin their reputations. Consider just a few controversies. Innovators claiming their research mysteriously vanished from labs or libraries. Skeptics pointing to corporate-funded studies, discrediting certain revolutionary ideas. Insiders from academia who've alleged that brilliant but non-conformist thinkers are systematically denied tenure. The underlying message is clear. If you can't be controlled, you're better off neutralized. This sets the stage for a dangerous cycle, one where countless bright individuals learn to tone down their insights just to survive. But that wasn't the whole story either. From the time you set foot in school, you're expected to raise your hand only when called upon, follow rubrics, and memorize standardized test materials. But rarely are you taught to question the test itself or ask who decides these standards in the first place. The entire system runs on a powerful premise. Keep as many students as possible on a predictable, test-oriented path. Those who think too deeply or color outside the lines quickly become a problem. In college or the corporate world, the same pattern repeats. Companies say they want innovation, but reward compliance. If you happen to be the type who notices glaring inefficiencies or suggests radical improvements, you're just as likely to be ignored or quietly sidelined. Some speculate that our biggest corporations thrive not because they foster new ideas, but because they systematically suppress them to avoid rocking the boat. It's no surprise that this stifling environment can rip away a brilliant person's passion for inquiry, leaving them with a dull sense of emptiness. But for many, the real pain isn't just intellectual, it's deeply emotional too. When your mind works on a level that others can't easily follow, you're bound to feel like an outsider. Thought-provoking conversation can be scarce, and ironically, you might find yourself envying those satisfied by small talk or easy entertainment. Some people even claim that psychiatrists over-diagnose bright youths with behavioral disorders, funneling them into medication regimens that dull their creative spark. Whether or not you believe in a deliberate conspiracy, the outcome is the same: an increasing sense of alienation. Chronic loneliness sets in when you realize that the deeper truths you uncover only widen the gulf between you and everyone else. Being too honest, too inquisitive, or too restless can scare off friends and co-workers. The system frames you as difficult, when in reality you see possibilities no one else has noticed yet. And what happened next would shock everyone. Enter the media. Movies, shows, news, social platforms. They're supposed to keep us informed and connected, right? In truth, they often serve as potent tools to keep the masses just entertained enough not to notice bigger problems. From fast-scrolling social feeds to sensationalized news, society's attention span has all but evaporated. Meanwhile, critical thinking, a hallmark of high intelligence, gets drowned out by quick dopamine hits. Several shocking theories circulate online. Some claim major media conglomerates deliberately push superficial content to reduce the populace's capacity for sustained thought. Others argue that most entertainment, from reality TV to algorithm-driven short videos, is designed to train your brain for constant distraction and impulsive reactivity. Now, does that sound like a place where intelligent voices thrive? Or does it feel more like a digital carnival that leaves you bored and yearning for depth? The good news is that you can resist it. This isn't where the story ends. It's where the possibility of a new chapter begins. Despite all these roadblocks, some people do break free. They carve out niches, build innovative startups, or set intellectual trends on platforms that remain unregulated, for a time at least. They learn how to use the system's weaknesses against itself, turning standardization into a stepping stone. It's a bold, rebellious route, but it's one that can yield extraordinary results. Here's the exposed secret. Start by owning your difference rather than apologizing for it. Seek out or create pockets of genuine discourse, forums, mastermind groups, or private networks where your insights are valued. Limit your exposure to mainstream brain drain media. That mental energy can be channeled into real-world impact instead. No, you won't always be applauded for it. You might be labeled an outlier, a dreamer, or a threat. But the alternative is suffocating in an endless loop of mind-numbing normalcy. Let's look at exactly how you can reshape your world on your own terms. Picture yourself walking along a path. You can continue following it, ignoring the itch in your mind that says, "This isn't meant for me," or you can forge a new trail altogether. That's the essence of building your reality. If society enforces systems that undermine your brilliance, constructing your personal ecosystem is the logical response. Some strategies to consider. Curate your inner circle. Surround yourself with people who challenge you intellectually and respect your need for growth. Seek out communities that reward creativity instead of obedience. Master your energy. Conserve your mental and emotional reserves for meaningful pursuits. Learn to identify and sidestep time sinks or negative influences that drain your momentum. Seek alternative education. Because the mainstream path emphasizes conformity, look at specialized workshops, self-guided learning, or alternative programs where depth is celebrated, not penalized. Stay agile. Rapid change can be your friend. By staying flexible, you can pivot quickly, something the rigid system can't do easily. But is this enough? What if there is a private playbook that some of the world's greatest minds quietly use? One that helps them multiply achievements while the rest remains stuck? Smart people want proof. So let's walk through the key pillars of how to unleash your full capacity in a world that seems dead set on constraining it. Strategic focus. You see a million possibilities in every situation. That's a blessing and a curse. Identify just one or two areas where you can create maximum impact. Pour your intellect into those fields, refining your mastery with singular determination. Intentional risk. High IQ individuals often foresee pitfalls, maybe a little too well. While everyone else leaps blindly, you see every potential hazard. To advance, accept that some level of risk is inevitable. Focus on mitigating downsides intelligently, not eliminating them entirely, because zero risk means zero growth. Power of collaboration. Contrary to the loner genius stereotype, forging the right alliances can supercharge your results. Find people who compensate for your blind spots. Historically, many legendary inventors, scientists, and entrepreneurs had partners that balanced their weaknesses. Continuous adaptation. Obsession with perfection can lead you astray. Real power lies in consistent iteration. Small adjustments that improve your approach day by day. A 1% improvement every day compounds into colossal transformation. Energy management. The biggest secret among top performers is how they guard their mental and emotional energy. They design their days to minimize trivial tasks, delegate or automate what doesn't require creative thinking, and set boundaries so that they can recharge effectively. Shrewd resourcefulness. If traditional funding or academic acceptance is out of reach, find alternatives. Crowdfunding, direct-to-consumer business models, or simply connecting with global networks can be a game changer. Let the system's rigidness be your advantage by moving faster and more creatively than the bureaucratic giants ever can. Following these principles is not about mimicking the masses. It's about forging your own blueprint for success, free from society's outdated norms. Of course, the system isn't going to take that lying down. It will do everything it can to pull you back into the fold, to label you crazy, unrealistic, or unprofessional. But once you taste genuine freedom, the freedom to think and act on your own terms, you'll never want to settle for the old game again. By now, you should sense the truth. The world really isn't designed for those who think too big, too boldly, or too differently. You can keep trying to cram your vibrant, dynamic intelligence into a dull, narrow mold. Or you can break that mold and build something new. The real question is, will you let the system keep you small, or will you take the risk of stepping beyond its safe borders? Remember this, for all the illusions of control and normalcy, you hold the power to carve your own path. Question everything, seek out authentic connections, and never underestimate how quickly a single spark of genius can grow into a wildfire of change. The difference between a life of frustrating stagnation and one of limitless possibilities boils down to one brave decision: to trust your own mind more than the system that was built to tame it. So if you felt that deep restlessness, that gnawing sense you were made for more, embrace it. The world is busy catering to the average mind. Let that be your advantage. Ignite your brilliance, shatter your limits, become the architect of your own future. And once you begin, there's no turning back. Because once a mind is truly awakened, it cannot be lulled back to sleep.